Google Sites is really easy to use. It used to be that you actually went to a different place, Sites, that it was its own thing. A while back, they integrated Google Sites in Google Drive, which I think makes things a lot easier. So now you just go to Google Drive, and then from within Google Drive to start a new website, you just click on the New button, come down here to More, and then in the list to look for Google Sites, and click on that. And here is my new blank website. A couple things that we're going to want to do probably off the bat before we start adding content. We will probably want to give the site a name. So we'll call this demo site. We might want to start looking at a theme. You'll see that your choices are fairly limited. Personally, I'm okay with that. My focus here is really on the content and not so much the overall appearance. But you'll notice that for most of these, when you click on them, you do have some other style options. You can pick one of their pre-made colors if you want, or you can actually, go and pick your own color. You can, and some of them maybe change the font style if you want to. I'm just going to leave that as is. Okay. Give this page a title. And this is the header, so this is not where I'm going to add content to the site. Instead, down here where this blank white is, that's where I'm going to start inserting stuff. And this is what they call a WYSIWYG editor. It's an acronym. What you see is what you get. So the way the editor works is you don't need to know any code at all. You don't need to know any of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. We're just going to drag and drop stuff, type things, put in pictures, and then the way it looks here is what it's going to look like for the end user. So if I want to start adding text, I just click on text box and I can start typing. So let's say here's a heading and hit enter. If I want to, I can come back up now and change that from normal text and say change that to a heading. You'll notice that it changed the color. That's because for this theme is automatically set to have headings that color. I can always override it if I want to, though, but for now we're just going to stick with this. You'll notice the little drag bars. That's because I could add an image here. Let's say we're going to pick a picture. We'll do the Edpuzzle logo. And again, like I said, you can drag things around. So if I wanted to, I can drag this text box, make it smaller, and then I could take this and drag it up here and put it beside it. So again, you'll be able to locate things on the page the way you want to. A couple of other things that are important for you to notice. One is the ability to insert drive files. So if you had a handout for your class that you wanted your students to be able to access right from here, we could do that. If I click on it, it's going to open up my drive, and I can look through it, or I can search. So I'm just going to pick this one. We're going to say insert that. And you'll see that it takes that file, and I can adjust it. So if I wanted them to be able to see the whole page, they could. Again, this is view only, so they're only going to be able to look at this. They're not going to be able to do anything else with it. Now, the reason why I wanted to make sure you understand this is this looks fine to me. I'm here in my website looking at it. Everything's great. If I just hit publish up here, which I'm going to show you how that works in a minute, and then gave out my URL for my website, I'm going to get a lot of people saying, hey, I can't see that document you said you were going to share with us. Before I put a document, or when I put a document, I could do it after the fact, but when I put a document in that I want people to be able to see, I actually need to make sure that back over in Drive, let me find that one. So that was one-to-one FAQ, I think was the name of it. There it is. So I need to find that document in Drive, and you'll notice that right now this document is private. So again, to me and my site looks perfect, no problems. But because it's private, when somebody else opens up my website, they're just going to get a screen here that says you don't have permission to access this file. So anything that I want people to be able to use, my students or parents or anybody else, I need to open that file up in Drive, and I need to come here, hit the share button. I need to go to advanced, and where it says private only you can access, I need to change that, and I need to change it to on public on the web. And you can leave it as can view. We don't want them editing it, we just want them to be able to look at it. And hit save and done. And now you'll notice that that share button has changed. There's not the lock next to it anymore. So now I can close that back up. Nothing looks different here for me. That's why this is tricky, and you've got to remember to do this. Nothing here looks different for me, but now when I publish this site, anybody that I give the URL to is going to be able to see that document. Okay? So that's an important thing to do. By the way, you'll also notice there are some kind of pre-made layouts here that you could take advantage of if you want to, if you don't want to start from scratch with your layout. But scrolling down, there's some other things that you can include as well. So again, very easy to use, play around with it. You'll notice anytime you add something, if you decide you don't like it, if I click on it, there's always a trash can so I can get rid of it. And the other thing you can always do too is if you make a mistake, hold down the control button and hit Z, and it will undo a mistake that you might have made, like that. Okay, so again, pretty easy to use. Adding pages, real simple. Right now you can see my website only has one page, a home page, so if I want to add another page, just click that, page 2, done. So now you'll see a navigation bar showed up here, so we have home page and we have page 2. And I can drag these pages here and rearrange them. I can make sub pages and other things if I need to. Okay. Now when I'm ready and I want to publish my site, and this is a little different than you're used to with like Google Docs, where it's always auto saving. You could come in here and work for an hour and completely revamp your site, put a whole bunch of new stuff on, and then just close the tab out. You don't lose anything. It's all going to be there the next time you open it up. But if you, before you leave, if you don't hit this publish button and you tell your kids, hey, I just put a bunch of stuff up on the site for you, they're going to say, no, you didn't, because they're not going to be able to see it. You need to click the publish button first in order to make any changes. Now, because this is the first time I'm doing this, I've got to name it. And you'll see that all of our websites have the same start. They're all sites.google.com/maloneschools.org/ and then whatever site name I pick. So I might, for instance, pick something like Mr. Dalton, and that might be my site name. Okay, and I'm going to hit publish, and it's done. Now, the next time I come back in here, I'm not going to have to do that step again, but just so you know, like if I'm publishing the page and I've made a bunch of changes, I can see all these editing things like when I move. So what it's going to do is when I hit publish, it's now going to give me this view. I got to add something, so let me delete that picture again. What it's going to do is it's going to show me, here's what's published right now. So this is what people can see. Here's what you've got right now as you're on the save draft. If you click this publish button, this now takes over for that. So if I don't like it, I could always go back out of here. Or if I'm ready, I just hit publish, and now my site's updated. Okay, so very easy to use. Again, you can use a Google site in conjunction with Google Classroom. So you might use Classroom for the assignments, but you might have handouts and things like that that the kids are going to need often and put it on a Google site. You could use a Google site to house your videos. One of the things in the insert page was you can insert a YouTube video. So if you upload your videos to YouTube, the other thing you can do though is if you are using something like Screencastify, Screencastify saves a video file right to your Google Drive. So you could actually do that. Actually, let's see. So if I find the Screencastify folder in my drive, so as I was saying, you hit, I'm going to find the Screencastify folder. This folder was created by the Screencastify, right? right there, that extension when I installed it and started using it. And any videos that I create with Screencastify are saved right to this folder. So I could just pick one of those, click on Insert, and it's going to embed that video right in the page for me. So that's another way that you could use the site, is if you had some kind of how-to videos or remedial videos, you could have them all housed on your website for your students. So again, as always, if you have questions on Google Sites, don't hesitate to get in touch.